Well, what is up, YouTube? It is your boy, Messy Rides, coming back to you again with another midweek rips, episode 27. Just plugging along. And this midweek rips goes out to my man, Not Gaming with Max. He had dropped a comment, as I encourage many people to do. If you have questions, suggestions, or ideas, throw them out at me. I love it. But Max was asking for an updated video on some of the complaints that I have with the old Kove 450 Rally, Kove, if you're fancy. And I don't have the most miles as some people have, but we're getting there. I'm at almost 1,800 miles. And let me tell you, I do have a couple complaints. Nothing huge, but valid. And I'll start out with one that you've heard me talk about before. The dang stickers. These stickers suck. I'm sure it's to be expected. It's a Chinese bike, and so I'm not wearing goggles and I just got hit in the eye with the branch. To be expected, the stickers are subpar. As you can see, some of them are coming off. I've already peeled some of them off. You get what you pay for, and I guess the downside on this bike is the stickers. My next complaint that I'll throw at it, and just keep in mind, a lot of my complaints could probably be solved with money, and that's something I just don't have to throw at this bike right now. So most of the complaints that you'll hear, I would say, are loosely listed as complaints, but really if you just chuck some money at it, you'd be a happy camper. The next one is going to be boil over from the tanks. On a hot day, I get some boil over from my tanks. Hey! I can get some boil over coming from these, and specifically the rear tank, and there's a way to fix that. You get rid of the T that's in place for the tanks. You put in your own split, so you can control the rear tank separate from the fronts, and then you get an upgraded fuel caps. So the one on the rear will have a little vent on it, and the two up front you'll put vent tubes on. So normally what happens is during a ride and it's hot, you'll see from my charcoal canister gas peeing out, and the guys are all, "Hey, you're leaking gas," and I'm like, "Nah, it's just bleeding, boiling over." So that's something you might want to consider, is upgrading that. Next, I'll say, every once in a while, and again, you've probably seen it in the videos, I can get a pretty mean tank slap. And what you find is on the race bike, the Kove 450 Rally race model, they have a steering dampener, steering stabilizer. That would be a wise investment. If you plan on ripping the crap out of this bike and don't want to pucker your sphincter as often as I do, get yourself a steering stabilizer. That will pay for itself very quick. Let's see, another complaint that I have: second gear isn't as usable as I'd like it to be, and first gear, though it's long and usable, runs out of steam. If I wanted something that's a little bit more like maybe hard enduro friendly, I'd switch out the rear sprocket from a 49 to a 51 or a 52 tooth, which you'll see on the boards a lot of guys have done. So that's another thing. Instead of stalling out in second gear or running the crap out of first gear, upgrading that rear sprocket to a 51, and I believe if you go from 49 to 51, you can still use the factory chain link size. So that's going to be something I'm going to look at doing. Let's see. I'm going to delete the ABS completely. That's another complaint. Bike comes with ABS, which is cool. You can turn off the ABS, and you can go without it, but every time you kill the car, the ABS turns back on. So once in a while you can kind of get surprised by the ABS kicking back on. I went ahead and pulled the fuse out. I just pulled the fuse out of the underside of the seat here, and that got rid of my ABS. What I'd like to do is pull the whole ABS unit out, get rid of a little bit of weight. It's all right here. So that would be another upgrade I'd like to do to the bike. Another thing that comes factory on the race model that this one didn't is some bark busters. I'd love to get me some bark busters for this bike. Too many times I've punched cactuses. So bark busters, and these are all things that you could spend some money on. It's a genuine complaint because it didn't come on the bike, and it's things that I wish it did have. But just keep in mind, if you throw some money at it, you'll be all right. But some bark busters would be nice. Gosh, I know the race model comes with mousses, and I have had an incident where I let too much air out of the front tire. She was a little low. And on the 06, I have mousses. So I think that's going to also be an upgrade I'm going to do to this bike. I'm going to switch out the tires and go from, I think it's tubeless, to mousses. Gosh, I don't have a whole lot of other complaints about the bike. I'm sure something will come to me. One last thing that I'll tell you is this is not a dirt bike. And in recent conversations, and the more that I ride the smaller bikes, I realize this is safely 100 pounds heavier than any other 450 you're going to get on the market. It's 320 pounds dry, so probably like 350 plus wet, compared to your 250 pound 450s. So if you're looking for a dirt bike, this is probably not going to meet all of it for you. It's a great bike, don't get me wrong, but the type of fun I have, or the type of riding I do, is way different. You can see it in the videos. When I get on the 300, I treat it like a dirt bike, and when I'm on this, I'm sure it's way more capable than I'm giving it merit to, or whatever the term might be. But personally, I feel way more confident doing some hard riding on something just a little lighter. I'm not a big person, and so with a frail frame, a smaller bike is easier to maneuver, and that is coming from somebody who had a GS 1200. So I'm coming from a very big bike. This is a blessing. That is even more so. So if you're looking for a dirt bike, like when I hopped on Bill's 450, it was a world of difference. You can feel the 100 pounds underneath your butt like that, So I'd really tell you to double check the riding conditions and styles that you're trying to get into, because though this is a very capable bike, it's an adventure bike. It's a dual sport over a dirt bike. I always make the joke, it's either the fattest dirt bike you'll ever ride, or it's the lightest dual sport you'll ever find. So those are some things that I'd really strongly consider if you're looking at this bike. All in all, I don't have a lot of complaints about it. We'll see what happens with the tariffs and accessibility for parts here in the next couple of years. That said, right now you can buy a crate engine from Kove for under $1,000. So if you're worried about, sourcing parts and things, buckle up, get some finances together, and buy yourself a whole hodgepodge of crap and keep it on a shelf until you need it. I know not everyone's able to do that, and I'm not financially, but that would be my suggestion to somebody who's worried. Save some money and buy some spare parts right now if you're truly concerned about getting them. Otherwise, I have a good feeling that here in the States, we're going to see a lot of manufacturers make aftermarket parts for this bike, as well as many other Dakar-style 450s. Really stoked. But Max, I appreciate the question, and I hope this fits your fancy. Let me know if you have any other questions for me, brother. I'll make this video pretty much for you, my guy. Stinking, drop a comment. Let me know what you think. And if there's anything else you want me to cover on this bike or the other ones that I got to do, just let me know. I'm an open book, and if I can help in any way, makes me feel valuable and worth something. So ask away, brother. As always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Stay safe. Praying for everybody. Cheers.